The next big Bitcoin breakout is literally closer than most people are expecting because liquidity is once again being built up above us. We're seeing once again this major breakout, and historically, always on that first weekend after such a big breakout, Bitcoin tends to see a big continuation and create a massive CME gap. So on today's update video, I will be discussing that. Also, of course, this Ethereum bull flag pattern, which of course, in my opinion, is looking like it is going to be breaking out anytime soon. I will give a big update on my current ongoing Ethereum trade. I will be talking about the massive flows on the ETF, the exact continuation we're currently seeing, and what is of course likely to be happening from off this point onwards, and much more important charts and patterns will be getting discussed on today's update video. So don't forget to once again slap that like button back above 1000 likes, and let me dive straight away in towards the most important points of this video. So before I'm diving in towards the imminent short term, I quickly want to be discussing that, yes, this Tuesday, we're going to get the US inflation readings again here. And of course, usually on the inflation readings, we're expecting a lot of volatility. Currently, the forecast is that the inflation is going to come in on 2.5% here. Well, of course, last month it was 2.4%. And of course, like most people already understand here, whenever it's going to be coming lower than expected we're going to see a big pump. If it's going to come higher than expected, we're most likely going to be seeing a big dump here. So make sure to be paying high attention this Tuesday for big volatility. Of course, if we're looking at the imminent short term here on the 1 hour time frame, we're seeing this symmetrical triangle playing out on Bitcoin, where on the lower side we have seen multiple signals of support, the top side multiple signs of resistance, and literally off the time of recording right now, we are trying to be breaking above this exact level right here. So if Bitcoin is going to be confirming the break above this level, probably a bigger continuation could be likely. I mean, if I am looking at the liquidity heat map, we can clearly see that at this moment of time, there's not a lot of liquidity laying below us, but especially the liquidity is laying above us, around that 120k US dollar level. So yeah, I won't be surprised that Bitcoin is going to be squeezing out that liquidity to grab that liquidity before making another move, potentially towards the downside or upside, whatever. But I do think we're going to be grabbing that liquidity. So Bitcoin is creating a symmetrical triangle. The argument could be, okay, but we're trading on a weekend. Shouldn't we be afraid if Bitcoin trades on a weekend? I mean, if I'm looking back at all the previous big breakouts above the previous ranges, it usually happened on like a Thursday or a Friday. And then, of course, the first continuation of that move really always happened over the course of a weekend. Why, I'm not quite sure, but just like last time around as well here we had the breakout on the Wednesday, then on the Saturday we had some boring consolidation, and then on the Sunday we saw a major pump, and the Monday it even continued. And it was also the case over here, right? Here's the Friday, then on the Saturday and Sunday we start to see a pump, and on the Monday a big continuation. So it isn't all out of the books that because it is weekend right now, we can't pump at all. No, that has of course happened multiple times before, especially if you are breaking above such a key level of resistance. You can clearly see Bitcoin has clearly broken above a very key important level of resistance, the top side of the range here. Bitcoin itself is also coiling up here, and really if we're going to be seeing the target of this breakout, it at least is going to be bringing Bitcoin all the way up towards about $120,000, which is not an insane bump, right? It's like a 1.4% bump towards the upside, but it is of course a new all-time high for Bitcoin. So those are the levels I'm exactly looking at. Also, if you're just looking at the weekly time frame, you can just see the structure. We are in a parabolica, and of course parabolica, they don't last forever. And of course, I've got my price target set up between $140,000 to $130,000 because I do think this is one of the last legs towards the upside. You can also see the moves towards the upside are going faster and faster. And if this trend is obviously going to be continuing, we are most likely not going to be stopping where we're currently sitting. But I do think 140k that we're going to be reaching that in a very fast pace. And then I will be definitely take some very aggressive profits of the market, especially from the altcoin market. So you can see also over here on the monthly time frame is that Bitcoin is indeed running in towards a very big level of resistance. I don't want to be fooling or panic anyone else here, but of course I've been buying Bitcoin on the lows, and for me it makes sense to be selling at least a little bit here on the top side, since of course the risk is most certainly higher because we're retesting literally a resistance line that has got us rejected for over 8 years in a row right now here. But of course it doesn't mean that I think Bitcoin is not going to increase higher, because I've said it multiple times here. I shared it also 2 videos ago as well. Again, my bull market take profit target is going to be 140 to about 130,000 US dollars. And since we're right now also seeing on the 3-day MACD a bullish crossover, which has always corresponded with a continuation of the trend here, which I also am expecting is going to be happening this time around here, we are most likely going to be seeing a bigger continuation higher. So super excited for what is about to be playing out over there. Of course, on the weekly time frame, this was a thing we discussed on the lows here, but I want to discuss it again here, how obvious it was here. We had the liquidity grab on the lower side, and that marked the bottom. The liquidity grab of the range always, like 99% of the times, tends to be marking the bottom, and at least that is for sure the trend of this bull market. And of course, I mentioned this so many times before also in the channel, it would have been quite stupid to ignore that fact here. Then of course, if I'm looking at my trade, I'm currently still in about $1.3 million in profit on my Ethereum trade here. It's still doing absolutely amazing. And yeah, to give an update on the trade, of course, I will be taking full take profit on $3,080. That is, of course, a target that's quite close from off this point onwards right now. I mean, we have seen very aggressive buying from the spot Ethereum ETF as well here. And of course, the biggest BlackRock Ethereum buy ever happened last Friday. So that is, of course, absolutely insane here. And now on the imminent short term, we are creating, of course, this bull flag pattern, which looks quite interesting in my opinion. We have seen a big continuation higher, and now we're creating this bull flag pattern. And whenever we're going to be breaking the resistance, just like Bitcoin is doing with the symmetrical triangle, yeah, we could be in for a bigger continuation towards the upside for Ethereum, towards maybe levels around $3,100. So yeah, of course, I will be taking some profits off the table over there, but ultimately, I am not going to be selling my spot position, since my trade, for the ones that don't understand it, is an inverse perpetual. So I'm trading with ETH and I'm getting rewarded in ETH. So whenever I close my trade, it doesn't mean that I'm not exposed to Ethereum anymore, but I'm only not exposed to leverage on Ethereum anymore. So I will be just holding my ETH all the way up to about $4,000, and then I will be aggressively exit the market for my Ethereum position. And I mean, we've been perfectly predicting this move so many times before. Just go back on the channel. We of course mentioned it whenever we had to break towards the lower side, exactly over here. This is where we entered our positions, and of course that marked the exact bottom for this Ethereum range here. So Ethereum is doing absolutely incredible, and if you're going to compare it towards Bitcoin in 2024, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some more consolidation before we ultimately see that next continuation higher. But I do think the continuation higher is quite inevitable for Ethereum right now here, especially since we broke above the previous high, we confirmed a higher high, we confirmed a higher low, and also if you're just looking at this chart right here, we confirmed the break above the most important level of resistance, and we're basically breaking in towards the top side of the region. So yeah, the ultimate target right now is $4,000. It's quite far away from this point, of course, but yeah, it's about a 36% pump, which we have seen multiple times before in just like a few days here. So yeah, I won't be surprised if that could be happening, but of course that is not something I am exactly counting on this moment of time here. Of course, on the monthly time frame, we're seeing a big consolidation, and the Bitcoin dominance is right now breaking one of its most important weekly levels of support here. We're seeing a bearish crossover happening on the MACD right now here, the breakdown of the rising wedge pattern, and of course the Bitcoin double top is officially invalidated. Also, the RSA is breaking out on this moment of time here. So yeah, I am still expecting a slight bigger continuation higher. I don't think $180,000 is going to be the top for Bitcoin, but of course, I do think we should be starting to get more and more cautious as Bitcoin is going to be pumping towards the upside. Of course, it is all for the short term when I'm saying I'm cautious, because I ultimately think Bitcoin is going to go to millions of dollars. It's a matter of time whenever that's going to be happening. But of course, Bitcoin moves in cycles. It doesn't move in one straight move towards the upside. It will not move to $1 million in one big green candle higher. No, there will be big crashes, there will be big pumps, and that is why you always need to pay attention towards what the chart is telling you. So this was it for me on today's update video. If you did enjoy it, learned something from this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, stop with the like button, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.